Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great day. We are finally on the second half of the year. But before we can continue with the rest of the year, let's go ahead and go over all the video game pickups I did for the month of June. This is probably the most video game pickups I did compared to the other months that I've done since the beginning of the year. I could be wrong, maybe the Walmart one was the most. I doubt it, this just looks like a lot more. I know you're not here to see me talk about video games, you guys want to see what I picked up, so let's go ahead and get started. Before I head out there to go hunt for some video games, I'm actually going to show you a trade I did with another fellow YouTuber here. I did a trade with my boy Easy Gamers. We had traded 2 months before, but I didn't receive it until literally the first day of the month of June. So let me go ahead and show you what I got. First game I got here is Final Fantasy IX for the PlayStation 1. I don't really collect for the PlayStation 1 until recently. I found out that you could apparently play PS1 games on your PlayStation 3 Slim. That's what I have. I thought you only needed the backwards compatible one to be able to play all these other older gen games. And I also got Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Now, I know this is probably a game that I should have had for the collection. I didn't have this physically. I had it digitally when I first bought my original Nintendo Switch. I couldn't wait to pick up this game, so I ended up just buying it digitally to play it day one. And I remember playing that game probably all night, taking the next day off just to dedicate the whole day of playing The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But now that I have this in the collection, I'm very happy. I should have had this in the collection, but I'm happy to have it now. 2 more games added to the collection. Again, thank you so much, Easy Gamers. You guys go check them out if you haven't already. And now let's go over to the first couple stops, Best Buy. Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you guys are having a great day today so far. I know I'm super late on uploading this video. It is currently August. I know I'm a couple months late, but better late than never, right? First couple stops were at Best Buy. I saw that they had a couple games on sale and decided to check them out to see if they had them in stock. I was able to find a couple at the first stop, but at the second stop I didn't see any of the games that were on sale in stock, but I did find one game that stood out to me that I had never seen before that I decided to pick up. So I don't typically go to Best Buy to buy my video games. I really don't go there because for the most part they never really have deals or games that I'm interested in. But in this case they actually had a couple games on sale. I had to go to 2 different Best Buys to find these games. First pickup is Smile for Me on the Nintendo Switch. This was on sale for $27. At the second Best Buy trip, Akiba's Trip Undead and Undressed Director's Cut Day 1 Edition. Man, that's a mouthful. But yeah, this was on sale for $30. Now I don't know if it was actually that was the sale price. If it was $30, that's how much I paid for the game. I don't know what it originally went for. It might have gone for $50. Not completely sure, but this was the last copy they had in stores. And usually games like these that don't sell, the bigger box games, they go on sale months after release. And another game that I've never heard of, but apparently it's a series, Touch Detective 3, The Complete Case Files on the Nintendo Switch. Just based off the cover, it looks like a detective style game, a puzzle solving game. So I was very curious, and the art style, it really reminds me of the Game Boy era. It just looked interesting, so I decided to pick this game up. This is definitely a game that you do not see out there in the wild if you're a Nintendo Switch collector. 3 more games added to the collection. Very happy. I forgot we got a package. A huge shout out to my boy Joe, aka J to the OE here on YouTube. Without him, I wouldn't have been able to get this game into the collection. I'm a sucker for collector's editions of games, and especially if they're on sale, it's a definite pickup for me if it's for a good price. And that game is Genesis Noir on the Nintendo Switch. Again, thank you so much, Joe. Without you, I would have never known about this sale. He's the one that told me about the Castle Crashers game when it released. Without him, I probably would have never been able to add that game physically to the collection. It was on sale for like $40 for a collector's edition. And now that we got the mail call out of the way, let's go ahead and head over to GameStop. During this time, GameStop had a deal going on. They had the 4 for $20 and 4 for $10 deal. This is a great deal to pair up with the older gen stuff because I managed to find a bunch of games in the older gen section for under $10. Now I love going to GameStop, especially when they have deals going on. At this time, they actually had a deal that was 4 for $20 and 4 for $10, I believe. I couldn't really find anything in the modern section, but I was able to find something in the older gen stuff. First up for the PlayStation 3 is Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. Now I remember playing the original Transformers, the game that's based off the movie. Never played anything after the first Transformers. For the 360 we got Wanted, Weapons of Fate, Soul Calibur 4, which the 360 version actually has Yoda as a guest playable character, which I thought was cool. I think I remember playing it back then, and it was always just insane to me to see characters in a game that aren't originally from that, game. And the Ultimate Stealth Triple Pack, which includes Thief, Hitman, and Deus Ex. I believe this was $10 or under $10, so I got it just to be able to fill out the 4 for $20. Now for some games that weren't under that deal. Blasphemous Deluxe Edition for the PlayStation 4. This was $17. I thought $17 for the Blasphemous physical edition of the game was a good price. Now for some games for some systems that I don't normally collect for, especially because I don't really play them. Touch Detective 2.5 for the Nintendo DS. This one stuck out like a sore thumb. I had to pick it up, especially because I had just picked up Touch Detective 3 at Best Buy. And the last game from that stop, Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse for the Nintendo 3DS. All these games at that first GameStop, I think this was a good stop, a good first stop to start off the GameStop trips for the month.
At this next stop, it was the same deal. I couldn't find any $10 and under games in the modern section. I had to kind of rely on the older gen stuff, and luckily this GameStop had a lot more older gen stuff compared to the last stop, and I was able to find a couple more games to add to the collection.
At this next trip, again, I try to take advantage of their 4 for $20 and 4 for $10 deal. For the 360, I found Final Fantasy 13 and Dead Space 3 for the 360. We got Infamous 1 and 2. These came in the sleeves. I believe these were the ones that were included in the launch, or whenever they sold the console, they came with these games. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen, another Transformers games that I'm adding to the collection. Street Fighter 4 for the PlayStation 3. Soul Calibur 4 for the PlayStation 3. Now, you saw that I just picked up the Soul Calibur 4 for the 360, but what was cool about it is that each console had their own exclusives. The PlayStation 3 version of Soul Calibur 4 includes Darth Vader as a playable character. And last but not least, Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Now I know a lot of people do not like this game. Personally, I loved this game back then, and I'm pretty sure if I played it now, I'd still love it. All these games for a total of $40. I think this was a lot of bang for my buck, and very happy to add these to the collection. I can already hear you guys chill. Where are the Switch games? Don't worry, I'm getting to them. You guys know that I love collecting for the Nintendo Switch, but if you didn't know that and you're new here, welcome. My name is Norman and I go by Choke Elixir on YouTube, where I primarily focus on collecting games for the Nintendo Switch and more recently other consoles. So if you enjoy content like that, video game pickups, video game talk, Nintendo talk, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel. With that being said, let's go ahead and head over to the next GameStop.
When I go to GameStops, I try not to have high hopes of finding that one game or games that I have on my wish list, especially games that were released early in the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, and the possibility of finding those games at GameStop is pretty low, but not zero. There was actually a game that I found at GameStop that I have been wanting to add to the collection that I couldn't believe I found. This just gives me more hope that maybe in the future I'll find even more games from my wish list at GameStop.
You know what's a great feeling? Whenever you're able to check off a game on your wish list that you've been looking for. The way I go about collecting is I like to hunt for my games physically and find them personally. And my main source of finding these games is GameStop. First up, some NIS America goodness. Labyrinth of Refrain on the Nintendo Switch. Not only did I find Labyrinth of Refrain, but I also found Labyrinth of Galleria on the Nintendo Switch. Another NIS America title. Grimm's Grimoire Once More on the Nintendo Switch. They had a release on the PS5. I almost got the PS5 version, but I decided to stick with the Switch version. And probably my favorite find from that stop, a game that I did not think I was going to find. There's still a lot of games out there that I want to add to the collection that I'm hoping to find at GameStop, which finding this game gives me hope that I will find them one day. And that game is Atelier Ryza, the first Atelier Ryza game on the Nintendo Switch. When I saw this on the shelf, I almost lost it. I was dying of excitement because this is one of the games that I wanted to add to the collection. I had bought and pre-ordered the third Atelier Ryza game, but I didn't want to start playing that game until I had found the first one. And now that I have this in the collection, I can finally start my Atelier Ryza playthrough. Great Switch titles. This was probably my favorite stop of the month of June. I was very happy to find these games and very happy to add these games to the collection.
Now this GameStop usually carries a good amount of older gen stuff, a lot of PS3 and 360 stuff. I managed to find a couple of PS3 games to add to the collection, as well as a Nintendo Switch game that I also had on my list that I've been looking for, that have been recommended from a couple of YouTubers. I don't know why so many people sleep on GameStop. Don't sleep on GameStop, because you never know what you're gonna find out there.
Now this GameStop always has a great selection of older gen stuff and retro games. They seem to replenish every week or so. First up is Blur for the PlayStation 3. I remember playing this game back on the 360. This was more of like a arcade style kind of racing game. The Sly Collection on the PlayStation 3. I love that PlayStation did a lot of these collection games for the PlayStation 3. This has Sly Cooper 1 through 3, all remastered in HD. And for the Nintendo Switch, I got Sakuna of Rice and Ruin. This was another game that I had seen some other fellow YouTubers talk about, that this was a must-have for the collection. 3 more games added to the collection. Very happy with this stop. Now this was actually the last stop of the month. It was on the very last day of the month. There's actually a deal going on. It was on Sunday. You know, Sunday is the start of the new deals for the week. And this week, or that week, they had a buy 2 get 1 free on all pre-owned games. Whenever they do the buy 2 get 1 free, I think that is the best time to do to pick up games for the collection. That's probably the best way to build up your game collection. So as soon as that deal went up, I headed straight over to GameStop, especially to this one particular GameStop where they have a huge inventory and they found a lot of great stuff.
The last GameStop trip was actually the first day of the new set of deals for the week. GameStop's buy 2 get 1 free was back, and it's personally my favorite deal that GameStop has. I definitely took advantage of that deal and found a couple of games to add to the collection in both older gen and modern gen stuff. It was overall a successful trip and a great way to end the pickups of the month.
First up is Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise for the PlayStation 4. I don't really see this game too often. I have heard of this game, I just would never pick it up. TMNT Mutants in Manhattan for the PlayStation 4. As you can see, it's a pretty pricey title, but I think aftermarket or online it goes for a little bit more. I've been very interested and curious to try this one since I've played Shredder's Revenge. Soul Calibur 5 for the PlayStation 3. Now this one's interesting because this one has Ezio Auditore from Assassin's Creed as the guest character. I don't think there's a console difference. I think 5 was the one where they had the same guest character for all consoles. Tekken Hybrid for the PlayStation 3, which includes Tekken Tag Tournament HD and Tekken Tag Tournament 2 Prologue for $18. It was actually the other free game that I got in the lot, so this one was free. Ukulele and the Impossible Lair for the Nintendo Switch. You don't really see this one out there too often. And the last game is The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth for the Nintendo Switch. Now there are about 2 or 3 different covers for this game. Based off the research that I've done, I believe this was the first print. So if it has this box art, it means it's like the first print run of the game. Again, I'm not too completely sure. You could correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've seen, this looks like the first print of the game. Also from Nicalis, so it's not a game that you really see out there too often. I think this was one of the early release titles for the Nintendo Switch. Last stop was a very successful stop. Very happy to add all these games to the collection for a great deal. The buy 2 get 1 free again is probably the best way to build up your game collection. So definitely check out GameStop whenever the buy 2 get 1 deal is going out there, because you never know what you're gonna find. There's great ways to take advantage of the deals that GameStop have to buy games for cheap. There you have it. Those were all the video game pickups I did for the month of June. I can't believe we are halfway through the year already. Well, right now we're actually on the second half of the year. I can't believe the amount of video games I've been picking up for the first half of the year. I didn't expect to pick up so many games, but I always try to pick up games when there's deals and try not to spend so much money. Again, you have to take advantage of those deals that GameStop has, or if you find cheap games, you know, go for them. Let me know in the comments down below what your favorite pickup was for the month. Personally, my favorite pickup would have to be Atelier Ryza for the month, especially because you don't really find these games out there. You know, your only way or your last resort to find games that you want for the collection is to go to a mom and pop shop game store or ordering them online, and I try to find them myself physically. So just to find it at GameStop was what's insane to me, to find a game that you don't normally see out there anymore. Again, leave a comment down below what your favorite pickup was. If you made it this far, thank you guys so much for watching, and that's pretty much it, guys. Until next time, peace.